Had quite a bountiful harvest today.
An Allen key. Isn't that just so neat? A little skull was found in the tiny barn. The items that I felt were so interesting that were just buried in this barn.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today at Tiny Barn Farm. Today we're going to go into this little building. This is Tiny Barn, what we call Tiny Barn, and we're going to check out some things that we found way back when we first saw this building on this property. Now, when we purchased this property, we had no idea this building existed. And when we arrived, I was kind of expecting like maybe there's like an old barn on the property. But then when I saw this, I thought, oh my God, there's a tiny barn. So ever since then, that name has stuck and it's kind of been our little haven while we were building our home here. We actually lived in this building the first year for 5 weeks, the second year for 5 months, and then again the third year, which I almost forgot about. The third year, while we were building our house, we lived here for an additional 5 months, and this is completely off grid, little solar panel setup, and a tiny little propane fridge. We cooked on a Coleman stove in the rain, you name it. But yeah, this place was quite the experience. If you ever want to check out the story of the tiny barn, I have another video that outlines the experience we had in this barn, but here we are. So we're going to go in today and we're going to just check out some of the items that we found when we were cleaning it out. I'll show you an image of what the barn looked like when we first opened the doors, and it was about 40 years since anybody had ever been in this building. So it was quite the mess, but yeah, so some of the items we kept that we found inside this place. So let's go check it out and have a look inside. So I've kind of set up some of the items in here. There's also some other items that I'll gather and bring into the video as well. There's just some really neat rusty metal, and that were all kind of like tractor parts and horseshoes and all those types of items and some of them we have no idea what they are. So if anybody out there has any idea of what some of these, and I'm sure you guys do, some of these items are, just leave something in the comments. I'd love to have a better identification of what some of these pieces are. Like this piece, I have no idea what this is. It kind of looks like it could be a hook. Anyway, pretty beautiful little piece. It has a number on it, S220. But yeah, just some really neat pieces. So yeah, let's go through it together. You'll have to excuse the mess in here. It's a little bit, there's like dead bugs and things on the windowsill, but that's the way it is. We're not using this building right now. This is kind of what it looks like. We will be sprucing this place up and turning it into a guest house. That's the plan. So yeah, I do go through more of the details about how this place came to be in my other video, but this is what it's looking like today. And that front window opens. So this is the first item that we found in this barn. And this is part off an old horse wagon. And look at that, like that's made of oak, just gorgeous. But yeah, that's the piece that I'm holding in the main image of the video. It's quite large, it's probably about 4 feet long. But yeah, pretty amazing piece there. I don't know what these are called. I know that there's like the yoke, but I think that might be another part. I'm not really sure what this part is called. So if anybody knows what that's called, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to know the proper name for that item. So yeah, here are some other pieces. So these are, I think, rollers of some sort. They have the spinning wheels on them, and they're really, really heavy. They're made out of cast iron. So I don't know. I'm assuming maybe it's for barn doors.
We have a set of 2 of those. We've got this item that I showed you earlier. I have no idea what this is. Pretty amazing piece. So the reason I kept a lot of these is mainly because I want to use some of them in our newer barn, just as some novelty pieces, like hanging the horseshoes. Like, look at those horseshoes. Pretty cool. Very rusty. They would have to be brushed off with a wire brush, which we'll do. But yeah, those are real horseshoes. There was some tack in the barn as well, but it was in pretty rough shape, so we had gotten rid of it. Look at this one. This one's a lot wider than the rest, so I don't know if that was just like a horse with bigger feet or what. Speaking of feet, there's also these. I'm assuming these were meant to make shoes. This was a child-size shoe, and this is a, I guess, adult-size shoe. Pretty neat piece. We've got old rusty spoons. A lot of rings, like rusty rings. This, I'm assuming this is like a bomb thing. Something, anyway, it's empty, thankfully. But I can't quite make out the writing on it. I don't know what era or year this would have been from, but that is a pretty interesting find. A lot of these things were buried in this area in the barn when it was just like this pile of garbage. But a lot of hooks, big hooks, more dangling type hooks. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming this is part like a tractor part or a wagon part. A very large hook here. These are all very, very heavy. This one. So you can imagine that a lot of these items can be used just as kind of, you know, towel racks or things to hang in my garden shed. Like if I want to, you know, have some more interesting hooks. I have a lot of these old pegs too. Old nails somewhere. I'll show them. They're a little bit further down. This is a lock, like a door lock. I actually have the key. I'll show that later. There's a key to that lock as well. A skeleton key. And that's made in Canada. Pretty neat. That was out of an old door. Another huge peg. This is a sanding block or sharpening stone. We've got this big plate, I'm assuming off some kind of a piece of farm equipment. I guess a disc. Probably another piece of some farming equipment. More hooks, little rings, a giant chain with a ring at the end. More horseshoes. This item, I don't know if that's like off an old scale or something else. I don't have a farming background, so a lot of these items I'm like, I have no idea what these are. These are old hinges. We had about 6 of these. We used 4 of them on the front barn doors, which I'll show you shortly. More rings, these large kind of horseshoe-shaped pieces of metal. This, off an old tractor, I imagine, for plowing. Oh, and these are quite amazing. These are rollers, decorative rollers for a door. Look at those. I would love to refurbish these and use them. They're just gorgeous. Pretty neat find. So we have a set, which is, oh no, we've got 3. So I'm sure we can figure something out. This is another kind of little item with a roller on it. An old doorknob with holes in it. Actually, you know what? A lot of these items as well. Oh, this is kind of an old tool, like an old wrench. A lot of these items as well, I was thinking of making, and I'd love to hear your comments on this, of making a large wind chime. You know, because some of these pieces, you can imagine the sound they would make, like the kind of clanking out in the field somewhere, hanging off a tree or something. I just thought that might be an interesting way to display some of these items. An old pitchfork. These lovely little hooks, which will be really nice in the garden shed. The garden shed is going to be the front part of the new barn, which is out that window. You can see it out that window. So the front 7 feet of that building is my garden shed, which is, I'm pretty excited about, actually. So this is off an old barrel of some sort. This is oak here. And these are old hand-forged nails. We have a whole bunch of them. So I'll definitely be using those in my garden shed to hang my garden tools. They're very rusty right now, but that's okay. And this old wheel, figure something out with that, because that'll just be neat to use. Yeah, so pretty cool collection of items. And what do you guys think? I don't know, making a big wind chime? Who knows? I like to get creative with these things because these are just the items that I felt were so interesting that were just buried in this barn. And I would love to put some of them on display. We may even just tack some of them to the exterior of the new barn, or this one even. Once we spruce it up, I'm sure some of these items will be decorative on this building. But yeah, let's take a look. We'll go outside now and we'll have a look at the front. I want to show you the old hinges on the doors that we put on the front of this barn. So here are the old hinges that we had found, and we were able to use them. The backsplash in this kitchen was the old roofing that was on this barn. Now it's not quite done yet. That window still needs to be trimmed. And we just thought that just worked out so beautifully with the countertop that's currently covered in rusty items. So yeah, we're actually thinking of also building a little screen porch out here. Just kind of like 4 feet or maybe 5 feet, 5 feet by 6 feet, just outside here, so that you could have like a little outdoor kitchen and a place to sit at night. And also it's just safer to just cook outside. So that's our thinking. So we're going to use the rest of the metal siding as the roofing on that, because it'll sit lower than this building so that we can still show the roof line. So that's the thought for this area here, but we'll see. We'll see. And here, this was our outdoor shower. So we'll probably continue. We might do something a little bit more easier to use. We just literally used a watering can and a basin, but we'll probably use something else, like actually have something with a shower head. We don't have running water here, so it would still have to be manually fed. Yeah, it was really handy having this space when we were living here. All right, I'm gonna go show you the outhouse door, because that was also another find in this building. So this is our outhouse. It's quite a long walk from the tiny barn. As you can see, tiny barn is way over there. This door was also found in the barn. There were 2 of them. One of them wasn't in great shape, so we had to get rid of it. But we kept this one as the outhouse door. Isn't that so cool? And that's the original color. I'm up in the loft right now, and I wanted to show you a couple more items that we found in the tiny barn that I actually keep up here, just because I thought they were just the neatest things ever. So yeah, let's have a look at these. So the first thing is an Allen key. Isn't that just so neat? There was an old door. We couldn't keep the old door because it was in rough shape, but we kept the lock, and the Allen key was actually like buried in the dirt in the tiny barn, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, so I kept that. Also, the lock. How cool is this? So I don't know. I thought of, cleaning this up and maybe giving it a coat of clear coat and actually turning it into a necklace. Like, isn't that amazing? So I thought those two pieces were very, very cool. And then, of course, the neatest piece that we found was this. Look at that. A little skull was found in the tiny barn. And I looked it up, and it was so clean. Like, it's probably been there forever. I looked it up, and this is actually from a skunk. A little skunk died in there. Poor little thing. Hopefully of old age. So I just keep it here on my windowsill. I don't know if that's creepy or not, but I just think it's just so beautiful. So yeah, that was found in the tiny barn.
So I'm going to head out to the garden and pick some carrots today. And then we're probably going to harvest some potatoes because I'm going to roast a chicken today. We still have these. So that's kind of exciting that we still have sunflowers, and we've got more coming up. There's actually quite a few sunflowers coming up in the garden. We got these right here that are about to bloom. And of course, that one there. Isn't that beautiful? Let's have a closer look.
Isn't that so beautiful?
Look at those purple carrots. Just lovely. They're not quite at maturity yet. The purple carrots, I find, take a little longer to mature, but we'll have some of those tonight. Gosh, you know what? These are like perfect. They just turned out so beautiful this year. So yeah, pretty exciting because it's really early still. We can harvest carrots all the way into the winter here, so this will be a nice first batch for us. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave these in the rows. I always find that the offcuts of the plants, I just put them as mulch in the rows and they just die back and keep the nutrients in the soil, retain water. Nice to walk on in bare feet, which I do often. I'm also going to shred some zucchini today. I picked a bunch of zucchinis, the endless supply. I freeze it because I use it in zucchini bread especially. That's our kind of one of our favorite uses for zucchini. But also in dishes like soups or stews or tomato sauce. So when it's just shredded and frozen, I could just add it into meals very easily as I go through the winter time. So we try to just preserve as much as we can. All right. That's pretty good. Before I go in, I wanted to show you the pollinator garden. It's pretty impressive.
You can just hear the bees. Oh, there they are. Just bees everywhere. Isn't this just gorgeous? The color on these flowers is just incredible. Look at these. Isn't that so pretty? So beautiful. Soon we'll be picking pumpkins. Just an incredible amount of pumpkins this year. I think we're gonna get a nice harvest. Look at the broccoli. I didn't think we were gonna get broccoli. And now look, we've got broccoli. And it looks like it's ready to pick. And we love broccoli, so yeah, we're really pleased with this. That's a little corn. I haven't had too much luck growing corn. We had little corn cobs last year. But we'll see what these do. Look at the color on those, just beautiful. Back from the garden. So I'm gonna grate the zucchini. I use a manual grater, I know. I don't have a food processor yet. I'll probably get one at some point when I get really tired of grating these, but so I'm gonna grate these because they're just kind of the larger ones. And I keep the smaller ones. We like to barbecue zucchini and we cut them kind of horizontally and then just put salt, pepper, and garlic on them and do them on the barbecue. But these ones are a little large. So I'm going to grate these manually and then freeze them. And then the carrots, I'm going to wash the carrots and blanch them and then stick them in the freezer as well. And sorry, I just thought I saw a bear, but I didn't see a bear. We have quite a big view back out that way. So I actually saw a bear this morning out by those hay bales way in the distance, but I wasn't able to capture it on video, unfortunately. I do have some bear video that we caught on our wildlife camera. So I'll slice that in because it's a mama bear and a baby bear. Oh my God, it was such a nice surprise to see them on the property, far away from the house, which is a good thing, but it was just neat to see them out there. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna wash these carrots and stick them, blanch them, stick them in the freezer. So blanching them, I'll have to look it up again. Every year I forget for some reason, but basically you boil them for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, I think, and then throw them into ice cold water and then strain them and stick them in the in a bag. Suck the air out. I do that manually as well. And then freeze them. And I found that I did it last year for the first time and it worked really well. So I'm going to do that this year again because they're super handy in the winter time. Okay, so I'm going to grate the rest of these. Going to get these carrots washed, do a little blanching, and what else? I think I might pick some more green onions. I've got some here. But we've got tons of green onions, so, and I like to freeze these as well, so I might do that later. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far the harvesting gets today.
More goodies from the garden for tonight's supper. Look at the potatoes. We had quite a bountiful harvest today. Look at the flowers. So this is the pollinator garden that I planted. So I picked some of the flowers, leaving many for the bees. Look how pretty those are. And so, it's really windy today, so some of the sunflowers were blowing over. So I picked some of the ones that had fallen. Pretty little bouquet. But we've got kale, black magic kale, lots more zucchini, kohlrabi and turnips. More zucchini. Those are collard greens. Beautiful cherry tomatoes, a few big ones in there. Yellow beans, which I'm pretty excited about. More peppers, which I'm drying. So I use these through the winter in kind of chilies and stews and things like that. We still have some snow peas developing. Most of them have ripened too much, so I just leave them. But look at the berries starting. And I'm probably most excited about this broccoli. Look how pretty that is. I didn't think I was gonna get any broccoli, and now look, we've got broccoli, and some of them are starting to form in the garden.
I wanted to thank you all so much for joining me today. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more garden updates, of course, during this harvest season, and we've always got some kind of adventure happening here at Tiny Barn Farm. I will see you next week. Take care.